Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, and welcome to the final tour of Zandvoort here at Rush Racing League season number 10. And it is time for the last race of the Zandvoort Race Week, and it is time for division number 3, the only division where the Drivers' Championship is settled. However, the Constructors' Championship here in Div 3 is still up for grabs. It'll be a tricky one, but if the gap does extend between Alpine and VCarb to over 47 points, then Alpine will win the Constructors' Championship. The gap currently sits at right around 24. So it would take a pretty strong result to see Alpine clinch that title here this evening. My name is Patrick Coleman, aka Rekus, and I will be one of your hosts and commentators for tonight's action. Alongside me tonight is the one, the only Daniel. How you doing tonight, mate?
Doing pretty freaking awesome. Arsenal, if you did not see, won the Premier League, so pretty buzzing at this point in time. But overall, pretty awesome.
Yeah, I haven't seen yeah, I don't watch soccer too often. Occasionally I'll watch a match if it's on TV while I'm scrolling through. But if you're a fan of Arsenal and they won, well, congrats to Arsenal then for getting. I heard they have like a almost like a Ferrari like reputation of constantly bottling it, but I guess the bottling has ceased for a year. Just kind of need I just need the act like I just need an actual football team like the Jacksonville Jaguars to not bottle a season. I am here.
Yeah, well, yeah, we didn't bottle it, but we looked like bottling, but we somehow didn't, which I'm really surprised. But we're not going to bottle the Champions League either. But I am going to get up and watch that, even though it's at a ridiculous time of 1 a.m. in the morning. I don't really care. I'm watching it. But can't wait to see Arsenal get two. We couldn't get the trifecta, but we could get two, though. We can. I believe. I believe.
I mean, anything's possible in the Rumble Sports, whether it involves motors or not. And as we see here, we're watching as RJ Gibson makes his way through the Dutch Grand Prix circuit. And we'll see about how this one all tends to play out. It's going to be a fun time here because, I mean, this track has been providing some really good action all the way throughout the week. And, I mean, I love this track. It's a shame that it'll be off the calendar for 2027 onwards. It's a really unfortunate loss. So we'll see how. I know the Madrid is actually going to be in the game with the 2026 season update, so that should be pretty interesting to see. Um, the new DLC actually does get revealed later on today, so that's going to be fun. So we do have some questions here. And Daniel, do you mind inviting Axt to the session?
I have been spamming him with invites, Rekkers. So yeah, I've just been spamming him over the past minute or so.
Good man. So I do have some things I will go through real quick. Insider info, my insider on the inside, who is doing inside things, has notified me that there is a 15% chance of rain in qualifying. So drivers really need to set some good banker laps. The Div 3 champion Breadman does top the times at the moment, but only 18 hundredths of a second ahead of his teammate. So VCarb does need a really good result here to try to make everything happen. To try to at least take the title fight for to the constructors to Silverstone. And this is a question that's meant for both of us from a user in chat. How was your week, Daniel?
Pretty quiet. Nothing really happening. Since I'm homeschooled, focus on school, but pretty quiet. Nothing really going on. But I am going go-karting this week. So pretty excited, pretty keen. Watching the supercars, watch Formula One. Formula One's back in Canada with a sprint. Why do they decide to make Canada a sprint, Wreckers? That's my question to you, first of all, before we answer the people's questions. Why Canada a sprint? That's my question after.
I think they're actually just trying to mix up the sprints because they have a lot of very unusual sprint tracks for the 2026 season. You got Canada being on there. Silverstone's another one that has a sprint this year. Singapore has a sprint this year. A lot of tracks that you don't really see having sprints out of like league racing. So it's gonna be interesting. I'm actually kind of, and also you got Formula 2 in Canada as well this time. So I'll be very keen to see how that all plays out. And to answer the question, um, so for my week, it's been pretty fun. Spent about half of it here, bringing a lot of fun races to you guys from Zandvoort. Did pick up a sickness on Sunday, so that's been something I've been kind of battling with throughout the week, including last night and today. And then I'm going to work at a go-kart track, so that's gonna be fun. Summer's right around the corner, so it's gonna get pretty hectic. But in the meantime, we can still have fun here in Rush as we get closer to the end of season. I'm going on vacation tomorrow, so looking forward to that. But yeah, I might even do some karting tomorrow or tonight as well.
Yeah, go-karting's pretty fun. Go-karting's underrated, in my opinion. But, yeah, going to see some awesome racing as well tonight in Div 3 as Toe tops the sessions with their 9-0. So pretty good times already in the 9s, about to be 8s. I reckon we might see a 7. I'm calling it now, pretty early. We're seeing a 7. I don't care if it's a 7.999 continuous 9s. But we're seeing a 7, no doubt, Wreckers. But don't know yet. It's still very early with 10 minutes 50 on the clock.
Yeah, I'm not actually too sure if we will see that 107 because especially if rain hits the track, then we are gonna plateau pretty early on. So I mean, it's very much possible, right? I mean, anything's possible. I mean, heck, it could start snowing, and it wouldn't be too out of place for motorsport. Although I'm pretty sure the only game it can snow on an F1 track is Grid Legends, where you can make it snow on the Red Bull ring, which is a pretty funny thing, using Fernando Alonso's old Renault R26. So we're gonna go through and watch as Dads goes to attempt his first lap, as there's a very slow-moving McLaren that the Ferrari driver will go ahead and get past. Axt, I believe, does have I don't know if he's been there or he has a quality ban. It'd be very unfortunate to get a quality ban as he is reserving. So, yeah, I was thinking 7 might be a bit optimistic. And 8 is definitely on the cards because we are already very close to the 8. So I'm thinking probably at the absolute peak, it's probably going to be a mid 8, I would say. It's probably like the actual peak. As Dads have a bit of a snap coming into the banking corner. Now, if you get too wide on this exit of turn 13, you can ride the curb and ride straight into the wall. It's another skateboard curve, very similar to the one in Saudi. And that is Dad is going to be down in the P12 here at the moment. So some pretty decent banker laps coming through here in Div 3. As everybody but HughView has set a lap.
Yeah, I don't know if HughView is waiting for the rain. I don't know if he's like waiting for everyone to complete their lap and then go out.
So actually, HughView's got a quality ban.
Oh, okay. That makes it more sense. That makes more sense. But Uncle Rookie going through the second sector now in the McLaren. I like the name, Uncle Rookie. Pretty funny with the 9-7. Pretty sure he's on a second flying lap. About to pick up his second sector time right about now. 53 thousandths up on his PB as Mitchell tops the session with a 9.044 by what? 3/4 thousandths of a second? Pretty close, but as we pick up on Rookie coming around the final corner, can he top Mitchell to the line? No, he stays 8th. He improves on his time, but not his position. But Mitchell tops the board with a 9.044, Rickers.
Yeah, Alpine right now are in a really good spot. They are pretty much poised to win the overalls as well this season, so very good. Very good showing from the French outfit that might potentially have a new title sponsor for 2027. So that's gonna be interesting. I don't know if you guys have heard about the new rumors when it comes to the 2027 potential title sponsorship for Alpine. The pink may be gone. So are Superduck and Toe the toughest drivers in Rush Racing? Good question actually. Not sure to be quite honest with you. Um, we have to elaborate what tough is when, in that context, because in terms of drivers with the biggest fan base, I think it's pretty hard to beat Kung Bus when it comes to the biggest fan base in at least amongst the drivers. So, and the the thing is with the Alpine thing that I was mentioning earlier, they might actually become like green, which is going to be really weird.
Wait, what team did you say was going to become green?
Alpine.
Wait, I was thinking about a different sponsor. I keep seeing it all over Instagram about Gucci taking over.
Mm-hmm.
But you said it would become green? Isn't Gucci like gold or something?
Green is also part of their color palette, so it could be green, gold, red, beige. It could look like a Dune Rats car from Hot Wheels Highway 35. That is elite ball knowledge, by the way. If you have not watched Hot Wheels Highway 35 or Acceleracers, then you missed out on childhood. I would just say that.
Yeah. I didn't really watch it much as a kid. I didn't even remember if I watched that as a kid. I don't really remember, but green. I like what now said green cars. Don't we have 2 of them already? I mean, in the game we do, but not anymore. It's become Audi in real life. But also another thing with another sponsor, well, another team, Christian Horner is trying to bring BYD into it as well. So if that does get approved, we're going to have 12 teams and 24 cars on the grid. Like,
That's
what?
pretty peak. That's pretty peak.
That is peak. That is peak. That is peak. Peak of everything. But SJ in P11 on another lap. The owner, the very good owner of this very good establishment, going through the first sector, 2/10 down on his first sector time. Let's hope he can regain those 2/10 in the second sector. Looking very good. You can very bottle it on that one curve, which I have done many times. But coming around this corner, about to activate the DRS, wide open, burning the battery as we get to the second sector time. What will it be? He's gained a couple of seconds or tenths on his lap time. He's almost 10th and a bit down now. So let's see if SJ or the governor can regain that time. DRS wide open. You can also spin out very easily on this bank. He's out of battery. He has aborted that lap. So he comes back into the pit lane with 3 minutes 47. We're about to experience rush hour, as you once called it.
Yep, we're about to hit rush hour here very, very shortly as we get ready to go. Alpine, oh, that's a very good drift there from Hennessy. Very good save. Very, very pleasing seeing a Formula One car turn into a Formula One drift car momentarily and having a very clean save at that. I mean, that's certainly one way to warm up your tires. Not a way I'd personally recommend, but it is a way you can do it nevertheless. Haas is having a pretty good showing here tonight. Not a team that I had on my bingo card for having a good run here tonight, but it is a very pleasant surprise seeing the a Haas 2-3 at the moment. Who knows? We might see a good title charge from Haas next season. Who knows? I mean, it's anyone's guess how next season's gonna go. With the DLC expected to come out in June on June 3rd. So I mean, hey, even here we're about to have 11 teams and 22 drivers. Which, if you don't play career mode with Countersport or Apex GP or my team career, then you'll be pretty unfamiliar with how the 20 or like 22 car grids. Well, I guess there's the F1 World Cars, but does anyone actually drive the F1 World Cars in outside of like the single player stuff? Does anyone actually drive online in the F1 World Cars? I know there's some leagues that do it on occasion as like a special series, but I've never actually covered a league that has run the F1 World Cars.
Yeah, that's all the F1 esports like type level like nerd using world cars. Like what? Like what's the point of even using F1 world car? Well, I get it's there, but all you do is verse your AI friends, and which are not really there. The AI. As Nimvim has left the session, I'll try and shoot you. Oh, is he even racing? I don't think he's even racing. But as we pick up Unk Rookie coming around the final corner for his last, or seem to be last blast across the line, going into turn one, very hard sweeping right handle, heats the haybacks perfectly. Very good exit of turn number two, coming around where Daniel Ricciardo once broke his wrist. He doesn't do it, Daniel Ricciardo. Calco has retired from the session. He is done. I don't think he can improve. Well, he thinks he can improve, so P5 is locked in for him. But Unk Rookie, 10th in a bit down on his personal best time down there in P9 with a 9.67. 6.7. Records, that's for you. Anyway, moving on. Unk Rookie going around this... As Unk Rookie goes around this sweeping left-hander, opens the DRS wide open, burning the battery, coming around to the second sector time. He's gained a couple of tenths on his lap. He's now only 98 thousandths off his personal best. Let's see if Uncle Rookie can lift himself up from P9. All of be P9 in for the rookie. Coming around the last corner, out of battery, as you can see. Uncle Rookie, can he lift himself up? No, he cannot. 46 thousandths down on his personal best. As Mitchell backs off, he thinks he's on pole. As we've got a Sauber coming across the lines, Talman Davey, he's invalidated. And we got a McLaren off, it's Uncle Rookie into turn at number one. Naya Eshe to the line, stays P at number 10 as Uncle Rookie retires from this session. Breadman improves. It's an Alpine 1-2. Bread lifts himself to P2 to make it Alpine 1 and 2. But look out for Slushy coming around the final corner. Activates the DRS. Got plenty enough battery to burn to the line. Stays P6, and I reckon that is qualifying all done and dusted. No, Hennessy's 3/10 up. Can Hennessy somehow gain another 3 more tenths and steal pole from Mitchell? Don't count Hennessy out yet, folks, as he activates the DRS, burns the battery, he's praying, he's hoping, Hennessy to the line, pole. No, he cannot. It's going to be an Alpine 1-2 with Mitchell on pole, Red and P2, Requez, that's what Alpine needs in the fight.
As we're going to go through here and run through your qualifying results, as Nimvim will actually need an invite because Nimvim is actually supposed to be racing, so we'll hopefully try to get that done post-quali. Mitchell had a Breadman, had a Gibson, Toe, Kauko, Slushy, Hennessy, Telemann Davy, Unk Rookie, the Governor, Naya, Daz, and then the quali bands of Axt and Huview rounding out the grid here tonight. So And then Nimvim is supposed to be in the mix as well. He'll probably slot in right behind the two drivers with quality bands because he was unable to set time because he got EA'd basically. He was just unable to get into the session. So hopefully we'll be able to try to get him in before the race goes live. Although I'm not sure if it's gonna be too late to be quite honest. So we'll see. Just go and try to invite him, Daniel, and we will do what we can. I don't know. I don't think the lobby would be red flagged for that. So we'll just kind of have to see how it goes. The sky looks pretty clear here in the Netherlands to bring you some clear skies for the Dutch Grand Prix. So it's going to be, it's probably going to be a slightly chaotic race, just because that's pretty much how every race has been this week. A little bit of chaos, a little bit of shenanigans, a little bit of tomfoolery, but a whole lot of excellent racing, wheel-to-wheel action as the drivers go ahead and get ready to get their setups going and everything of the sort. And we're going to get ready. We're going to get ready ourselves for what could be an exciting battle. This is a really fun track. It's very narrow, very tricky to get overtakes done. You can take some really weird lines on this track and still make things work. So I'll be really keen on seeing how the Alpines do. They already have the Drivers' Championship. They can make that even better with a Constructors' Championship. So it'll be a fun battle. I will say that. But VCarb have a bit of a mountain to climb if they want to try to challenge the Alpines. If the Italians want to take it to the French, then they got some work to do. Italy versus France. We're in neither of those occasions. We're here in the Netherlands, and it's lights out and away we go here in the Netherlands as we go through, coming through turn number 1. It's still going to be an Alpine 1-2. Gibson and Breadman battling it out. And that's actually a very good one, but just a little too late for Ninvim, unfortunately. So that is very tricky stuff here in the opening stages of the Grand Prix. So a majority of the field is running the mediums. Hennessy on a set of softs, Axe on a set of hards, and Dazzle actually dropped a few positions here on the opening lap. So we're going to see how this one kind of pans out. Gibson trying to close in this gap, but look at this, Breadman in tow, battling it out, but here's Kauko right in the mix. Kauko really trying to fight here side by side. They're playing chicken going into the beginning of Sector 3. Very good dive attempt, but they both come through, and that did kind of bottleneck Kauko. Slushy right behind. There's Hennessy there in the mix as well. As these drivers are just going to go for here. They're going to try to make magic happen as DRS is now enabled, and we are officially on lap 2 out of 36 here at the Dutch Grand Prix.
Yeah, very clean start to the Dutch Grand Prix. But here's the thing. Alpine, realistically, to seal it, they need a 1-2. So they need Breadman to go ahead and catch up to RJ Gibson in P2 in the Haas. But it's very early in the game. 36 long laps around the circuit Zandvoort, which is low-key one of my favorite tracks. It's because it's the birthplace of Max Verstappen, the guy that raced in the Nürburgring, but unfortunately had to retire the car due to a suspension and driveshaft issue after leading most of the race. But we're not here to race GT3s, we're here to race Formula 1. As we focus back on the lead battle between RJ Gibson and Mitchell. Mitchell has the DRS. He's looking to make the overtake on Mitchell coming around into turn 1. Can RJ Gibson close the gap enough to send it? Yes, he is. He's going to go around the outside. At turn number 1, not many people go for the outside line, but can he make it stick? No, he cannot. There's going to be another opportunity, another dive. Maybe around the outside here. Bit of a tap-tap on that rear wing, rear wing. But what that's doing is allowing Breadman to catch up in the other Alpine. But here we are, around the outside comes RJ Gibson, but unfortunately does not get it done, which means Breadman has caught back up to this fight. Now, what's going to happen between Mitchell and RJ Gibson? Is Mitchell going to hold up RJ Gibson enough that Breadman can somewhat catch up and gain? As we've got a Ferrari round, it seems to be Daz in that Ferrari, but focusing back up into this battle as RJ Gibson looking to make the overtake again or try again on lap number 3, working at lap number 4. DR wide open. He's gaining. Mitchell with a little bit of a weak, protecting that inside line. RJ Gibson looking around the outside yet again. Not many people go around the outside. Bit of a tap, Mitchell. Trying to send RJ Gibson wide. But this is a pretty feisty battle, Wreckers.
Indeed it is. And actually, surprisingly enough, you will see actually a good amount of dives around the outside for turn 1. Just because of how turn 1 sets up for turn 2. You wouldn't think that, but it is actually shockingly pretty common here around this Dutch track. But another interesting fun fact is that it is currently a Div 4 1-2 here in Div 3. Mitchell and RJ, I believe they are reserving up tonight. So that is actually pretty neat to see, as there is some drama in the back. And oh no, disaster for V-Carb as Calco, I think, and Slushy have had a bit of coming together. So unfortunately, we don't have a replay to see what happened between the two, but doesn't look like there's any damage on either car. So who knows what that is all about as we continue on through here. Breadman is going to try to close in the gap. It's going to be, once again, RJ trying to that outside line. He almost wheel hooks with the Alpine as they continue to just sweep through here. They're coming through the banking here of turn 3. Going to go to apply the throttle. You gotta get a good slipstream, and you can get a very good run here. And he's going to try to follow the flowing slipstream. Maybe try to move up the inside. If you're brave, you can sometimes make a move on the inside, but not very common in turn 6 as they continue on. And oh, look at the other Haas. Toe trying to get a toe in, and he's going to try to get really punchy here on this stage of the Grand Prix. Hennessy is back in DRS, but I just don't think those soft tires got much more life left in them. So it'll be tricky to see how this one kind of all pans out, as Hennessy is still trying to close in the gap, but I think those soft tires are really going to start fading here sooner rather than later. So we saw the two-stop come into play a few times this week, but I mean, I don't really see a one-stop happening unless the safety car comes out. RJ Gibson making a move for the lead, swinging it around the outside. Going to try to maybe go for the switch. Oh, he hits the Alpine of Breadman, just turns into him ever so slightly. And I mean, I'm not a steward, and I don't think that will get looked at. It might, but might be one ticket for the stewards. I already know what steward is already trying to tell me to shut up. Just, good intuition that there is a particular steward trying to tell me to shut up before I bring up Div 3 pens or appeals. But yeah, that was just, at least in my opinion, wrong place, wrong time for Breadman.
Yes, very, very bad time for Breadman, as Niven has left the session again. I'll shoot him an invite, but in the meantime, I'll shoot it back to you, Rickers.
Alrighty, we're gonna see this battle continue on. It is Haas versus Alpine. It's America versus France. Can't remember the last time that battle actively happened. I'm trying to think, because I know America and Italy is a common battle with the Ford versus Ferrari rivalry in motorsport. Can't think of any French brands that an American brand has beef with. I guess Cadillac versus Le Mans. I guess that's the thing, because Cadillac and Le Mans don't exactly. Cadillac just doesn't have the best of luck around the 24 hours of Le Mans. Calco into the pits now, and he is going to switch for a set of hard tires. So trying to play a bit early on the strategy. So we'll see how this all kind of pans out as Hennessy still trying to close in that gap. Sumter is still holding on here, surprisingly enough, as the two Haas cars are trying to chase down Mitchell for the lead of the Grand Prix, and Alpine looking pretty strong at the moment. They already got a Drivers' Championship here. They got the only championship that has been sorted out here. The only championship in the Drivers category that will not be heading to Silverstone next week. So if you guys haven't already, be sure to go ahead and drop a follow so you don't miss any of the action next week, because next week is going to be a blast. Tomorrow is the reserve program. It'll be the last reserve program of the season. And then we go into the final race week of the season. So it's going to be fun. It's around the original birthplace of Formula One. The first ever Formula World Championship race happened in Silverstone in the year of 1950. So we're headed back to the original F1 venue for the season finale of Season 10. Div 1, very tight fight. 3 drivers still in the fight for the championship. I think about 12 or so points separates them, I think. I'd have to look at the numbers again. Div 2 is going to go down to the wire. Div 4 is down to the wire. And Div 5 is going to be a tricky one, but the title could still swing Kelsey's way. So lots of excellent racing next week, so be sure to go ahead and drop a follow if you haven't already. And it is going to be an absolute blast next week for the finale.
Yes, but while you were talking, we've had a very, 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 very undercut pit stop from RJ and Hennessy. So expect them to get the beneficiary on the undercut as Toe and Breadman come in to obviously cover off, or try to cover off, those undercut cars of RJ and Hennessy. But here comes RJ and Hennessy down the main straight. Are they going to undercut Toe and Breadman? The answer is yes. Yes for RJ Gibson and yes for Hennessy. So the beneficiary of the undercut is very powerful around Zandvoort as well. So make sure to look for that as well. But here's the thing now. It's looking like a Haas 1-3 at the moment, or 1-2, if Toe can get around Hennessy. But here's the thing. Toe is on very cold, hard tyres, while Hennessy is a lap older, so it would be warm. But what does the race lead Mitchell? What does Mitchell do? Does he come in? Does he come in to try and cover off that undercut between the two Haas and the McLaren? Answer is yes. He's going to dive hard right into the pit lane, slow it down to 60 kilometers an hour, and there you go. Naya Eshe also boxes on lap 10 of 36, as he is going for a set of hards. But look for RJ Gibson, as you see the Alpine of Mitchell coming out of the pit lane now. You see RJ Gibson sweeping around that right-hander, and it's going to be a undercut victory for RJ Gibson, followed by Hennessy, Toe, and then Mitchell, the former race leader, as Uncle Rookie leads on lap 10 of 36.
Yeah, so far some good pit strategy being played here. It is likely going to be a 2-stop here in this race, because trying to get your tires to about 27 laps at this stage is going to be a very tall order. So it is likely going to be a 2-stop here. So medium hard is probably going to be the call for a lot of these drivers. Axe is doing, almost 4 wide, almost 3 wide coming into sector 3. That's a very risky idea, as Axe now is the great Italian wall, blocking both of the Haas cars in one singular corner. Through goes Hennessy, and it is going to be Gibson now trying to tap the back. That actually puts Hennessy in the net race lead. Drama. We almost saw Toe just smack straight into the wall there on the exit of Indianapolis, as I like to call it. And the favor be returned. The contact between Mitchell and Toe, as is Alpine v Haas here at the moment, kind of being all bottlenecked by Axt. I mean, just look at the view from behind Axt's Ferrari. You can just see that there is a sea of cars trying to get past him here, as he's on those 10-lap-old hard tires. So Mitch goes ahead and gets past. He's trying to get past the Haas of Toe. They're going to go wheel to wheel, sending the move up the inside, and through goes Mitchell. Mitchell is up a position, but look at this, almost 3 wide. He gets boxed out again by the Alpines. Toes up in the fourth, but look at Telemann Davey. Telemann Davey in the Div 3 champion of Breadman, continuing to scrap it out here, coming into Sector 3 once again. And this is going to be very tricky stuff, as it is going to be Telemann Davey really trying to hold on here, trying to get these positions. He's going to try to use that fresh hard rubber to go ahead and try to maybe make him move here, as it is getting very, very chaotic here, as some cars finally get past Axt, who has been pretty good on the defense. Toe and Mitchell come together again as we're about a third of the way through the Grand Prix. So good battles happening up and down throughout the field here. Mitchell trying to close in the gap, trying to get back into net race lead. But as these guys have been fighting, and beating each other within the inch of their lives, Hennessy is checked out to about 2.5 seconds. So Hennessy, who started on that soft tire, is in the net race lead.
Yes, so maybe the softs were very good tire for the race start. As you see that ginormous, basically DRS train from Axt all the way down to the RB of Calco and P number 10. But here comes the Alpine of Breadman around the outside of Axt. Can he do it Leclerc-esque style? But he's pushed him off as Axt is off the road. I don't know if that will be looked at by the stewards, but I reckon that might be that. If I haven't seen this shoving someone off the road, I don't know what that is called. But it's the Selmas, and Tennessee's off! Tennessee's off the road!
Oh, it's pending, and it's a safety car!
Wow! This is gonna be crazy. What a turn of events. But look at Hugh. Hugh stayed up. All those first pit stops were being made. He's gonna make the beneficiary of it. He's gonna come out in the race lead, basically, because everyone's gonna be slowed down to a specific delta, and with everyone slowed down, this would be a good time to make a pit stop. But Hugh has timed it perfectly. What a race so far, Wreckers.
Hugh has definitely hit the jackpot here this time around. What good luck, too. I mean, staying out for that safety car, he gambled. And, usually it's tough gambling because the house always wins. But in this case, the V car wins here. So, he definitely won the lottery there. He'll be on fresh hard tires when he does make the pit stop. Yep, into the pits he goes. Very unsurprising for the number 36 as he comes on into the pits. He's going to check on his set of hard tires more than likely as Axe gets a penalty for colliding with Gibson. So that is... that resulted in a whole end plate getting nuked. The Sauber... Oh, okay, so some cars are coming into the pits now. So, actually, Hugh is... Okay, he's actually dropped some spots. I thought he would have actually come out in the net race lead, but guess not quite. He comes out in third, but he will have very fresh tires. He'll be able to really fight this one out. As we'll just kind of see. It'll be interesting on a safety car restart as the field does get bunched up. Some drivers do make pit stops. Axt, Gibson, Daz. They'll make pit stops. Axt has actually jumped onto a set of medium, so he'll be going on a bit more of a aggressive strategy coming through. Toe right now going to go ahead and lead the field. So it is a Haas leading the Grand Prix, followed by Mitchell, and now Hugh up in the P3. So considering that he had a quali ban earlier on, that is very nice to see. Very good recovery drive. He is up 11 positions from where he started.
Yeah, I don't know if that's, I don't know, like, that's driver of the day material right there. But as he said earlier on, he hit the jackpot. We're not in Las Vegas, we're in Zandvoort. So, I don't know if there's any casinos in Zandvoort, but Hugh needs to go to one, because his luck is absolute stunning right here. As we work lap number 15 underneath the safety car. But my thoughts so far of this race is absolute chaos, especially when the Constructors is on the line, when everyone, well, mostly the Alpines and the RBs, are fighting like it's the last. Like, boys, you still got one more race to go. But at the moment, I think Alpine will still be winning it. Second and fifth, big ask, but I don't know yet, Wreckers.
Well, they're still in the lead by 24 points in the constructors. So I think this is unless Alpine has an absolute mire of a race afterwards. Like I'm talking like both cars DNF. I do not foresee LP losing the lead, at least how things currently sit, because they would have to first off be outscored by 25 points by the VCARB team, and so far they're not being outscored at all at the moment. But with that all being said and done, as long as you finish a race, you are gonna get points. Because in Rush, the points go down to the top 15, and we had 14 drivers that took to the race start. As I think that's more of a Hennessy bottle now at this point, comparatively to the previous bottler allegations that we have seen here throughout the season. So, Toe is going to go ahead and get ready to rock and roll. Safety car is going to be in this lap. So now we will see the Haas backing up the field. Will this be a Hosta class race or will it be a Did Hosta class as we go ahead and get ready to kick things off here once again in Zandvoort? They're coming around the banking. And it looks like we're getting ready for the Indy 500, but it is now time to kick back things in the Dutch GP. He's going to run hard to the line. You can't overtake it to the green. And it is green flag racing once again. Mitchell trying to go to the inside, but just doesn't have enough in the tank to make the move. Those positions are being changed. Gibson and Axe battling it out for position here as they continue their scrap. Calco and Slushy scrapping it out here as well. So there's a few different fights happening all throughout. Mitchell got a really good launch trying to chase down Toe for the race win. And keep Huvie in mind. Huvie's on the brand new hard rubber. So once he gets those tires fired up, because it does take a while for those hard tires to get into the correct operating window, we could really see some really strong moves from him here as they make their way into Sector 3. Toe is really under a lot of pressure from Mitchell. It's a very slight lockup of the brakes there. He's going to allow Mitchell to start closing it ever so slightly. As we are approaching half race distance here at the Dutch Grand Prix. The final Dutch Grand Prix of the week. Before we turn our focus to the season finale of Silverstone. DRS will be enabled this live, so no DRS this time round, but next time round the DRS will definitely play a strong factor into this one, as we still have a pretty decent three-way fight for the race lead here. Daniel.
Yes, three-way race lead between Toe, Mitchell and Huvie. But let's see what Mitchell can do. Has his tyres come up to temperature? Because he got that gap down to a 10th through that corner. I don't think he can be any more closer than a 10th before he hits him. But here's the thing, he's got the DRS. He's gonna have the DRS main straight going into the hard braking of turn 1. So he's gonna wait until the turn 1, like an F1 movie when what's his name, Swan tries to go for the overtake on the outside for Verstappen in the wet on dry. Sonny says wait until turn 1. But Breadman has got P as Hughview's got damage. Hughview's got damage to the front wing of the RB. As Mitchell takes the race lead from Toe, Hughview comes into the pits for front wing damage. What could have been? I'm pretty sure I gave him bad luck, because his luck went from good to absolute worse. But that's gonna allow Tyler Mendavy to have a bit of a gap between himself and Toe in P2. But what a sad day for him, as we got Calco and Unc Rookie going side by side for P7. Down the inside goes Calco, around the outside, taps him, gives him the bump and run, or the bump hurry up. But Mitchell takes the race lead, followed by Toe, Tyler Mendavy, Breadman, Naya Eshe, Unc Rookie, Calco, / the Governor, and RJ Gibson in 10th, and then Axe behind in those medium tires. But as we go down into turn number 1, Toe looking to go around the outside. Is he close enough? No, he is not close enough. But Breadman is going to try and hunt down Toe in that Haas. But let's see if Mitchell plays any games, decides to back him up a bit, so his teammate Bread can catch up. But as we work lap number 19, we're going to have 15 to go next time by, Wreckers.
Yeah, it's going to be a good battle that we're seeing here through Zandvoort. And Zandvoort is really a tricky track. It's hard to get overtakes done. You can certainly attempt them, but getting them to actually stick is a much trickier task than anticipated. Because you do have some pretty good overtaking straights, but then you just get dirty air through a lot of these corners. They can make things extremely difficult to try to get a good, solid overtake in. As there is going to be an onboard request, just waiting to see on for whom. Whomst is going to get that onboard request. And we'll see. Oh, and Hennessy actually had a wheel disconnect. So that's why he straight lined it into turn 1 from the race lead. So that is very unfortunate there. So, oh, they're making me choose the driver. Oh boy. Man, who am I gonna choose at this stage? I'm gonna go on board with Toe next time around. So we'll do that at the beginning of the next lap, as Naya Shea is gonna continue to try to work with his teammate here to try to pull away from the Unk Rookie. I feel like that's the nickname everybody kind of gives Fernando Alonso, the Unk Rookie, the Forever Rookie. As we go through, Toe is going to try to close in the gap once again, trying to fight his way through Sector 2, coming into Sector 3 now, coming through what I like to call the Indy banking. Very similar to the Indianapolis road course banking, same direction and everything. And here we go, we're going to go on board now with Toe. As Toe is going to go ahead and burn a good amount of battery. Now down, he's going to try to send it around the outside. I think there's almost a bit of touch and go. He's going to try to keep it on the outside, but Mitchell keeps it pinned. Toe now trying to close in the gap. It's very tough to follow here. And this is actually one of the few tracks where the real-life line is actually a bit different than the in-game line. Because in real life, you sometimes see people go on the outer edge of the banking and then try to cut in. You'll see that here sometimes for overtakes. We did not see that from Toe. Hughview sets the fastest lap as Toe continues to try to chase down. But now here's where the dirty air starts getting really troublesome for the Haas driver, currently sitting in second position. As they make their way on through. And there it comes. He's going to make the run into Sector 3. He's being very gentle on the battery. He still has a lot of battery. He might try to burn a lot of it down the main straight to see if he can go ahead and get the move done and dusted. He's just gonna sparingly use that battery. He knows there's still a good amount of the race left to go. He just needs to crucially stay within DRS range and then that move may come sooner rather than later. He is on one lap older tires, and he does burn it, but not as much as I thought he would. Coming down into the turn one, and that is the onboard lap with toe being done and dusted as Tyler Davey goes for the undercut into the pits.
Yes, so let's see if Tyler Davey can somehow jump a couple of positions with the undercut going on onto another set of hards, as you're going to see most people do, because I don't think the mediums would survive until the end of the race. Almost 10 laps to go, maybe. What are we, 11? I think 13 laps to go, 14. I don't think the mediums would make it until the end, so you're going to see a lot of drivers jump onto another set of hards. But I'm expecting maybe one medium just to go pressure, just aggression. But as Mitchell and Toe dive into the pit lane, they're going to try and get it slowed down as Mitchell's got a 10-second time. Pit lane. This is not good for the Constructors title battle. This is not good at all. All RB needs to do is try and beat Breadman now. Oh, not Breadman, Mitchell. That is not very good for the Alpine driver Mitchell leading the race. I was on board with him trying to see him, and he just couldn't slow it down enough. So I gotta say, that might be the end of Mitchell. But let's see if Breadman can revenge him, as he's got a bit of a commanding lead. 4 seconds and climbing. But his tyres are, another 8 laps older than RJ's? But here's the thing, RJ is getting the pressure from both the Red Bulls. From both the Red Bulls. Where both the Red Bulls come from? Of the Governor and Slushy. See, let's see if the Governor can make the pass on RJ Gibson. Let's see if SJ can shoot himself up into P2. What is Breadman going to do? Is Breadman going to react? Yes, he is. Let's see if he does the same what his teammate did, slowing it down, trying to get it slowed down, and does. Very, very, very risky. This is why I hate Zandvoort pit lane, as Slushy picks up a 10-second penalty. This pit lane is very, very hard to slow down from almost 200 Ks to 60 wreckers.
Yeah, Zandvoort, there's a lot of pit lanes that can be very tricky for that as well. You think of Austria, you think of Vegas. I think the only one that's actually pretty easy to kind of get it low is Belgium, because Belgium, you're pretty much coming hot off of a chicane into the pit lane anyway. But jumping back to the fight here, Gibson under some pressure from SJ. This is a Governor in that white Red Bull, the Japan-themed Red Bull. Really trying to close in the gap here and try to make magic happen here as he's chasing down Gibson for the de facto race lead, as we are 2/3 of the way through the Grand Prix. Lap 24 out of 36 about to be in the books officially. So we will officially be at 2/3 race distance now, as we're going to see here Gibson trying to break the toe, trying to break away from SJ. It's RJ versus SJ. Who's going to be the superior letter combo as they make their way on through? 3-lap pressure tires for Gibson. Going to give him a slight bit of an edge. Mitchell and Toe now side by side once again. We've seen this battle a handful of times here today already. So Mitchell and Toe are going to go ahead and continue to scrap it out here for positions as we get closer to the final 10 laps of the Grand Prix. Battle's happening right behind too. Tyler Davey trying to close into the back of Calco for position. This will be a Sauber versus V-Carb battle that we're going to be witnessing here. Some good fights up and down the field as well. You got Breadman, who's not too far behind the two kick Saubers. He'll try to kick one of them out of the way, and he'll try to hold on if he can try to catch up for these positions. Gibson, though, still under pressure from the Governor. And we'll see if the governor. Yeah, oh, he's going to come into the pit, so he's not even going to entertain that much longer. He is on slightly older tires, so he will go for it. I wonder if Gibson is going to try the one stop. My money is on that he's going to pit next lap and not try the one stop, but he might go for it. We'll see. Breadman now getting the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. And it is now a four-way fight. You got Calco, the two Salvers, and Breadman all getting ready to scrap for position. And this could be a very entertaining battle. We've seen big conga lines like this before as they snake their way through the coastal hills of Zandvoort. As we are now on lap 26, but oh, there's a Ferrari that's had a bit of a moment. And that is Daz facing the wrong direction. That is a safety car. Safety car number 2. And, oh, don't tell me. Oh, Hugh just passed the pit entry right when that safety car came out. He went from being very lucky. Oh, actually, he just came out of the pit, so, I mean, I think he'll be all right, but still, very, very chaotic circumstances here in the Dutch Grand Prix, as Gibson is going to be the one who's won the jackpot here this time around.
Yeah, he's won the jackpot this time around. As he's going to dive into the pit lane, this is also going to allow Mitchell to come in and serve his 10-second penalty and come out in front. No, he stays out. Oh, well, he's just been into the pits, but he's got a 10-second time penalty. I don't know why you would come in and wouldn't serve it. I would. But as you see, RJ Gibson come in for a set of soft. He's on soft tyres, Requez. They're not... I mean, by the time we get going, it's going to be lap 28, 29 at best. Those softs are not going to make Requez.
Well, I mean, the soft tires could probably actually go the distance here. I mean, we saw Hennessy take it for about 8 laps, and by the time we get back racing, there'll probably be about 8 laps to go, maybe 7 at the least. But we can see the soft tires go the distance. As Daz is out, he's pulled into the pits. He has called it there on the night. He was the driver at that spin a bit earlier. I'm also kind of slightly surprised about Mitchell not pitting in for to try to serve that 10-second. It'll be given to him post-race. So, yeah, I mean, maybe he's thinking there's a way he could get dropped by the stewards, but considering it's a pit lane infringement, probably not. Probably no way you could get that penalty removed unless you actively serve that penalty. So, we'll see how it goes. It's still out to play for here. About 10 laps to go. Once you cross the line, it'll be 9. So we are here in the final couple of laps of the penultimate round of Rush Racing League season number 10. Next week is going to be a blast. I'm looking forward to it. 4 titles on the line. You got Div 1, 2, 4, 5, all up for grabs. And we could see a monumental turnaround in some of those championships. As Mitchell is still going to lead the field here. As we still try to collect a few other cars. And Hugh is actually back into the pit. So I wonder what the V-Carb is going to try here.
Yeah, he's coming for another set of softs. Because the safety car has stayed out another lap, so that's going to allow him to catch back up to the field. So he's okay. But Mitchell, yeah, is shocked. Like, I was expecting him to come in and serve that penalty, but he's gonna need a mega couple of laps. And he needs to drop toe by over 10 seconds within 8 laps. Can he do it? I reckon he might be able to. But here's the thing, the tyres are equal except Calco. Calco is sitting in P3. His tyres are 2 laps older than both Mitchell and Toe. And so is Tyler Mendavies. Bread's there. His tyres are a lot better than Toe and his teammate Mitchell. But he's got 2 kick Salbers in the way, so I'm wondering if he's going to kick them out of the way. Great pun, I know. But the safety car stayed out yet again another lap. So we're going to have about 7 laps to go. But he stayed out again. So he's expecting he's trying to do it on track. As you see, Hugh, who pitted under the safety car, he's got better tires than the other soft runners of RJ Gibson and Slushy. So, but safety car stayed out yet again. Another lap. It's Mitchell followed by Toe, Calco, Tyler Mandavy, Nyeshe, Breadman, RJ Gibson, the Governor, and Axe in P10, and then Slushy and Huvie back P10 and 11. But I'm wondering to see what Breadman can do. Breadman is going to be the one to watch, because with Mitchell, with his 10-second time penalty, he's going to need to perform an excellent couple of moves on both the Kick Sauber cars, Calco and Toe, because Mitchell is out of the equation at the moment. But let's see, as we are coming around for potentially the safety car restart. Reckers, I'll hand it over to you.
Alrighty-o, so the safety car is going to be in this lap. So when we get back to racing, there will be about 7 laps of racing to go. And it's going to be a fast and furious affair. A lot of drivers on newer hard tires, but you got those 3. You got Gibson, Slushy, and Huview running those soft tires. So expect some extreme punchiness here out of the gate. And we could see some really feisty moves being made through here. I think Huview, he's got a pretty good shot to move his way up. Mitchell, on the other hand, I think he's kind of cooked. I mean, he's had some really good pace here. Definitely one of the quickest cars on the field today. But, yeah, I think he should have came in to serve that 10-second. But here we go. We're about to go ahead and get racing here. And he presses the loud pedal, and we are back green here in the Netherlands, as the two Saubers were at least originally looking side by side. We are seeing some side by side action here with the Alpine and the McLaren scrapping it out for position. You got Gibson now using those soft tires to try to make a move around the outside of Unk Rookie, as Unk Rookie is going to hold on for now, but almost got that nose in on the inside. Jumping back up to the front, Toe is going to go in and try to close in to Mitchell. Toe effectively is in the race lead at the moment, so looking like a very tough time in the office for Alpine. Gibson going to go ahead and make a pass for P6. That fresh bit of soft tire rubber going to really play into his hands. Kauko is going to go ahead and try to fight it out. Kauko has a shot at getting a race win here, which would be beautiful for VCARB in the Constructors. So, as it stands, I believe this title fight will go on to the Netherlands here. Or sorry, to Zandvoort from the Netherlands. Here in the Constructors between Alpine and Visa Cash App Racing Bulls, as the DRS is now re-enabled. And Gibson gets one on the Tyler Mandavy. That fresh bit of soft rubber, really working well for Gibson. But not really working too well for anybody else, because Huview, he's got past Slushy, but that's been it for him. He hasn't been able to catch SJ on those newer hard tires. So about 6 laps to go. And it's still all to play for here, Daniel.
Yeah, speaking of Huview, I was watching him. He went off the road there, so that's why he dropped a couple of seconds and wasn't able to make the overtake on SJ and Slushy. But Slushy went coming around the far bend, the NASCAR-esque bend, so that's why he got past him very easily. But as we focus up to RJ Gibson, who's made an overtake tires, RJ Gibson is sitting in provisional P3 with Mitchell's penalty. But here's the thing, Mitchell's dropped, and I've lagged out. Great, love that. So Reckers, I'll hand it back to you.
Alright, so we're going to see how this one pans out for the rest of the Grand Prix. I'll try to get Daniel in here in a moment, but in the meantime, Toe is going to try to close in. They're both on the 9-lap-old hard compound tires. So they're going to go and continue to scrap it out here for these positions here in the final 5 laps of the Dutch Grand Prix here in Div 3 as they continue to fight their way through, coming through the coastal banks and the coastal hills of Zandvoort right here on the Dutch coastline. They dropped Kelko at a DRS range, so it is a double Haas podium as it sits. As we take a look here, just seeing how far. Oh, wow. Actually, yeah, with that 10-second penalty, Mitchell actually drops to the back of the field. He'll go from first to last. That is definitely not ideal for him there. So, a very tough day in the office for Alpine. This will make VCAR pretty much right there in the fight, especially if Kelko could somehow close up to Toe and get that move. But look at RJ Gibson trying to get punchy here, trying to fire it up the inside. He tries to get that move done and dusted, but just unable to do so at the moment. So he's going to try one way, try another. He's going to try to stick a wheel up the inside. I mean, he paid for the whole soft tire, so he's going to use the whole soft tire as he's going to try to do his best and try to hold on for this position. They're coming through the sweeping sector 2, and Axe is out. Axe has been, and there's another safety car. In the closing stages of the Grand Prix, another safety car. More drama here at the Dutch Grand Prix.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for. There it is. Thank you. I'm just joining back right now, so that's perfect timing for this safety car. Couldn't be more happier for a safety car, so I'm able to join for the last couple of laps, which is really, really, really good. But unfortunate for Axe. But really more unfortunate for Mitchell, who got that gap out. Is he pitting? I don't know because the stream's a bit delayed. But as I'm just joining back into the session,
so
I'm wondering if Mitchell's pitting. Yeah, it as to be expected. As Toe went to go follow him in, but didn't. But this is going to really let Mitchell serve his 10-second penalty. But he's going to drop right to the rear. But he's going to have very fresh soft tires, as I've just joined back now, which is really, really good.
Oh, double stack for Alpine.
Get my settings worked out. Double stack. Oh. Whoa. Double stack. Interesting decision by Alpine to double stack both their drivers, but with Slushy's front wing change, that's going to let him come out in front of him, or Huview, sorry. And I think I've got the glitch where Bradman's Alpine doesn't have a front wing at all. So I'm looking at an Alpine without a front wing. It looks hilarious. Oh, I love this glitch. Please don't ever fix it, EA. But as we focus on, Toe is followed by Calco and RJ Gibson. What was an Alpine 1-3 has just turned into a Haas 1-3. So expect RJ Gibson to make the overtake on Calco as the safety car is in this lap. So let's see what happens on this safety car restart. Let's wait. The Alpines can manage to catch. Both Alpines have no front wing for me. That's brilliant. So as we focus onto the race leader, Toe. When will Toe gun it? We're going to have 2 laps to go. When we're just waiting for Toe to punch it. But here's the thing. Toe's got a front left end plate missing. So his turning's going to be affected. Can Calco somewhat make the move on him with that front gone? He's going to wait very late. As you see, Uncle Rookie side by side. This is going to be absolute chaos for the race. There's a Red Bull shooting in. Racing as Toe has gotten the whole down into turn 1. As RJ Gibson side by side with Maya Eshe. And Uncle Rookie's also side by side with Tyler Mendavy. But can both the Alpines jump a couple of positions with 2 laps to go? They're going to be gunning like it's the last ever race. But as you see, Mitchell's already up a position. Can his teammate Breadman follow through? Alpine need a couple of more positions to lock it in. But here's the thing, all the cars are packed in to one bunch. So this is going to be very, very easy. The Governor's launching it down the inside on Mitchell as the Governor's teammate, Slushy, is side by side with what seems to be Breadman. But as we work into the final corners of the penultimate lap, when we cross the line, Records, I'll hand it back to you. But Breadman side by side with the Governor. But I don't think it is quite enough for Alpine to lock it in at this moment. Mitchell needs to get past Onk Rookie and RJ Gibbs. As we start the final lap, Records, it's over to you, mate.
All right, thank you, Daniel. It is indeed the final lap here of the Dutch Grand Prix. We are on lap 36 out of 36. Kauko trying to put some pressure in that number 3 V-Carb. He's going to go ahead and try to put some pressure onto Toe to try to maybe get a last-minute V-Carb win here on the day. And this is going to be a beautiful battle to witness here, as Kauko is going to really try to do what he can to follow through. But it's tricky with the dirty air around this sector of a racetrack, especially with the coastal breeze blowing in here from the coast itself. As they go through Tyler Medavia and Slushy, they both get past Unk Rookie. And, some drama is happening in the back, and there is a McLaren off. But we're going to jump off of the McLaren and back onto the battle for the lead. All these podium positions. Gibson gets a 3-second time penalty for track limit violations. So that's going to put a pretty rough patch in his race. Oh, Kauko gets on the curb. He slides it, and Naya is going to try to send it on the outside. Naya's in the wall. In contact and drama, but Toe will win the Dutch Grand Prix. Mitchell salvages a podium by only 4 milliseconds on the day. And drama unfolding here in the closing stages of the Dutch Grand Prix. That definitely will be some incidents to look at. Whew. And that is going to be insane work there. That's going to be looked up by the stewards 100%. So, as we see a super finish from Toe, the podium celebration will go live. A very much needed win for Haas, as they will go ahead and celebrate. Drama at the end. That is definitely going to get looked at. Naya was on track for a podium, but got kicked into the wall. And yeah, I think Div 3 is going to have a few things to look at here. So, we'll just kind of see how this one goes. But taking a look now at your superlatives, driver today is going to be one of the Saubers. It's going to be Naya, driver today. Cleanest driver is Tyler Medavy. Fastest lap goes to Hugh, and Toe is your race winner. So looking at your results here, Toe ahead of Kauko, ahead of Mitchell, Naya, Breadman, Tyler Medavy, Slushy, the Governor, Gibson, Hugh, Unk Rookie. Then we had the retirement of Axe, Dads, and Hennessy running at the field here tonight. So, after a very entertaining Dutch Grand Prix, what are your thoughts about it, Daniel, as we go to get our interviewees in?
Yeah, very, very, very chaotic race as Mitchell finished P3 and I'm pretty sure his teammate finished P5. I don't know if that locks them in or are we going to Silverstone. But my thoughts are pretty good, actually. It's a pretty good race. But here's the thing. I got the overtake clipped between Mitchell and RJ Gibson going into turn 8. Mitchell seen the dive bomb and went on the curb and went off into track limits. So I don't know if that's an illegal overtake or the stewards are going to want to look at that. But my thoughts, awesome.
Yeah, it was a very good race here in the Netherlands. Good way to wrap up the week here in the Netherlands. It's going to be a fun time next week as we go ahead and wait for our interviewees, as we'll see how this one, we'll see what the drivers have to say, but it's going to be interesting because, I mean, it was a very, and I will say it again, the Div 2 stewards, they got some work to do today. They got some homework that they're going to have to do. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. They got stuff they got to do tonight, especially right there at the end. It was mostly a clean affair here, but you had most of the incidents were pretty much self-driven, but you had I think especially that thing with Naya right at the end is definitely going to get looked at. So we might see Naya on the podium post event. But as we get ready for Silverstone night, we actually don't have any of our interviewees in just yet. So I'll see if I can get them
I've
in.
just pinged them. I've
Oh,
just pinged them in the chat. I've got it. Don't worry. We're just gonna have to wait a few moments for them to join.
all right, we'll give it another 3 minutes. If we don't see them here if we don't see any of them here in about 3 minutes, we will go ahead and go to just wrap things up. But yeah, it's gonna be a very fun week for the final week here in Rush, and then we'll be back once the DLC drops, which the DLC is expected to drop on June 3rd. The reveal trailer comes out today, so or at least I think it does come out today, which I'll be at work when it happens, unfortunately. But very curious to see. The new Madring track is also expected to come in because it was in the background of the 2026 poster. So yeah, it's kind of weird that they waited this long to showcase it, but I mean, hey, maybe they're. I mean, then again, it is a DLC compared to like a full-scale game, so usually with DLCs you don't reveal them as early in advance as you would a full game. Like F127 is probably going to get announced and showcased like several months in advance before it actually does come out. So, alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen, we do have some of our interviewees. So we got actually I think we have all of our podium sitters, I believe. So we're gonna go ahead and Daniel, I'm gonna pass you over to the first one of Calco. Over to you.
Calco, what a race, mate! From spending half the time, down in the bottom status of the race, I think. So, what was your thoughts on that race?
Yeah, firstly, I missed out on doing my final lap in qualifying, so that was no good. I could probably make up, like the grid was so close. What was it like? They were like a tenth or so away from me. I probably had a tenth or so in my final lap, but I didn't get it down. So I had a spare set of softs for that remainder of the race that I didn't end up using. And then couple laps in, I got taken out by one of the Red Bulls on a corner. In sector 2 and then got sent to the back of the grid. Did a couple laps and just basically undercut both pit stops to jump people late and just had worse off tyres at the finish line. But because of the safety cars, they weren't that bad. And then I nearly fucking lost it right on the last line. So.
Yeah, almost lost you finished P2. Looking at it here, you've spent most of the race in P2, I reckon. So you must be the P2 master. But going into Silverstone, where the constructors battle is still up for grabs, are you going to be giving it your all, or are you going to try and play it smart?
I haven't even raced Silverstone this year on the track, so I don't even know how fast I am. So I've probably got a lot of practice to do.
Yeah, if you had enough gap under one of those safety cars, would you have pit for P2? Not for P2, for softs, sorry.
I don't know. I think track position's pretty key at Zandvoort, so I don't know. Tough decision. The field was pretty tightened up because of the last safety car, so, and even before that, I don't know if it was worth it. Yeah, tough decision.
Yeah, well done on the P2 there, Calco. I'll hand you over to Requez, and it's over to you, Requez, for Calco and P2.
Yeah, I don't have any questions for you here, but congratulations on the P2 and best of luck next week in Silverstone.
Cheers, guys.
All right, so we're going to go from P2 now to P number 3. And we do have Mitchell. So, Mitchell, it was a very good recovery drive there for you at the end. Had a bit of a tricky time with that 10-second penalty. Just going to ask you the curious question of why didn't you serve that penalty earlier when it was a previous safety car that came out?
I'd be boxing for older tyres, so the second one was kind of the better choice in the end.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. With the title fight against V-Carb going all the way to Silverstone, how confident are you with the team that you'll be able to wrap up the constructors next week?
The team's great, so we'll just keep chipping away at it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. How do you feel about the Silverstone track? Is it a track that you're gonna have to do a lot of work on? Is it a track that you groove with? A track you don't groove with?
I need to improve on it. As long as of course, I don't get sent in the complete abyss like I did on Monday. So we'll see what happens.
All right, well, congratulations on the podium. I'll pass you over to Daniel if he's got any other questions or comments.
Yeah, I've got something to say. For the entirely of the rest of the race, when I lagged out and went back, you had no front wing at all. So that was pretty funny to look at. But good recovery drive by you. Did you think when you had that penalty you weren't going to get a podium, or what
It
was your
was
thoughts?
minimise the damage. We got extremely lucky with that. The last safety car, obviously, I can quickly dart in, get rid of it, get on the newer tyres, the softer tyres. So extremely lucky. But yeah, that was just going to be damage control, really. See what I can do.
Yeah, very good race by you. But what are you expecting going into Silverstone, especially a track where you can get rain, as we saw? Pretty sure what was it last year in real life? That track got a downpour. So what are you expecting? Are you expecting dry? Are you expecting wet?
I don't want to say what I'm expecting. I'll leave that comment to myself.
Well done on the recovery drive in P number 3. You really deserve this after that 10-second penalty. But well done. We'll see you in Silverstone.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we're going to go ahead and talk to our race winner here of Toe. So, Toe, you had a fantastic time here tonight. A very good result for Haas in general. How do you feel about your performance?
I'm happy I won. Good. Always fun racing. I was going into it hoping I'd win. I like Zandvoort a lot, but yeah, I'm just happy I won.
Yeah, it was a very good run from you here today. You and your teammate, the two of you guys just seem like you guys had just a pretty good night for the most part. How do you guys feel about Silverstone next week?
I like Silverstone. I think it's a good track. I don't know how RJ feels about it. I hopefully if he races, we can have a similar result to like the start of the race, not obviously the end where something went wrong for him, but I don't know. I reckon we can do good again, hopefully.
Yeah. So, anyone you'd like to give a special thanks or shout out to before I pass you over to Daniel?
I'll do the shout outs at the end after Daniel.
All right. Well, congratulations on the win, and I'll pass you over to Daniel if he's got any other questions or comments.
Toe, what a race. You always had your teammate in P3. When your teammate was in P3 and let's say Mitch was in P2, would you play the smart game and somewhat back Mitchell up into your teammate, or what would you have done?
Kind of depends on the situation. I mean, he had the 10. I mean, at the end when RJ was on the old sauce, I don't know. To be honest, I was never really thinking about overtaking Mitchell. I mean, I had wing damage from contact with him earlier, so I couldn't really get him in the exit of like the final turn, and then I was just too far back to get a move off. So if I got ahead, I might have tried to slow him down. I'm honestly not too sure what I would have done.
Yeah, especially with the undercut. You went for an undercut, right? And that proved very, very well. Especially with the Silverstone pit lane being the same, well, not the same layout, but the same speed limit. Do you think the undercut's going to be good or bad around Silverstone?
Probably good, but it also depends. Like Zandvoort's like a really difficult tire wear track. I felt like I think most people were on the 2-stop, so undercuts I feel I can are a lot better in two stop situations. I did it in Mexico. Um, it's just kind of a different situation. I feel like Silverstone, more people are probably going to be on the one stop, and usually you want to focus on tire wear. So I reckon it won't be as good as it was here, unless there's like a crazy fortunate safety car. I don't know.
Yeah, well done on the win. I'll let you do your shout outs before I'll let you go. So do you have anyone to shout out real quick?
Yeah, shout out my whole squad. Shout out Haas. Shout out to RJ.
What is that music in the background?
It's funk.
That might get us
And shout out
copyrighted,
funk.
mate.
Shout out funk. All right, that's it.
Oh, I hope we don't
well
get
done.
I hope we don't get copyrighted for that.
I hope so as well, because I'm pretty sure it was Axe. Oh, it was someone.
No, it was
I
tough.
think it was Naya. It was Toe? Oh. Well, god dang it, Toe. I think we should take the win off his hands off that for that. But, yeah, pretty good race. Chaotic, as to be expected when the Constructors is on the line. But what can you expect? It's Div 3.
We do have one more interview to go through, though, and he has been sitting here patiently waiting. And it is the driver
Naya.
of the day of Naya. So, Naya, I know there's definitely going to be some words exchanged about that incident that happened on the final corner, but overall, how would you rate your race here today?
I feel like I had a very good race considering what happened on Monday. Uh, Pretty happy about it. Yeah.
So, I mean, talk to us about kind of your perspective on what happened there on that final lap incident.
So pretty much, Calco spun on the it was outside curb, and I went to go for an outside move, but kind of like nudged me a few times. Surprised I didn't DNF from the contact, and then from all that momentum loss, Mitchell got me on the line.
Yeah, very unfortunate there indeed. But overall, you still had a pretty good run. How do you feel about the season finale at Silverstone next week?
It's a track I quite like, so hopefully I can do something there.
All right, well, congratulations on the driver of the day, and I'll pass you over to Daniel if he's got any other questions or comments.
Thank you.
Yeah, hi. Well done on driver of the day, first of all. Just want to say, I'm just shocked about this race, to be honest. I have no questions, but well done on driver of the day. But what are you expecting going into Silverstone, actually? That's the question which I was going to ask.
Hopefully anything in the top 10 would be on my list, to be honest. Hopefully not DNF or anything like that. Anything like that I would be happy with.
Yeah, well done on the driver of the day. We'll see you around the streets of Silverstone, the birth of Formula One, I guess. I don't know.
Thank you.
Alrighty then, that's officially going to wrap things up here in Division number 3. And that is going to wrap things up for us here in Zandvoort. We've had a beautiful time in the Dutch coastline. But now we turn our sights to the home of British motorsport, the birthplace of Formula One, as we get ready for the season finale in Silverstone. Almost said Zandvoort again. Silverstone is going to be a fun track. Dirty Air is going to be a tricky one. Tire management is going to be a huge factor because tire wear on the track is very high, especially coming through Maggots and Beckett's, the sweepers. But before then, we have to get through here. Reserve program is tomorrow night, and it'll be your first taste of all the action that is going to be coming here at Silverstone. So I want to give a massive thank you to our partners of Sim Racing Center, SimLab, and Pagani Advanced Simulation. And then a massive thank you to everybody in the Twitch chat for being as awesome as always. I'm Bava Daniel. My name's been Patrick Coleman, aka Rekis, and we have been your hosts and commentators for tonight's Grand Prix. Tune in next time when we take on Silverstone, and stay hydrated and have a good night. Goodbye.